everyone, this is homework 1.11. Penelope told me that in my old videos I was too mean and I didn't give you enough information to help you, so I'm going to make a new one for today. So we are looking at Han wanted to find the intercepts of the graph of this equation. He decided to put this into slope-intercept form first. So remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m equals our slope and b equals your y-intercept. Okay? So he takes these steps. So first it looks like he has the first equation. He subtracted 10x from both sides. All right, so that's so far so good. Then he divided both sides by 4. But notice here that he did 20 divided by 4, but he didn't do this 10x divided by 4. So in looking at the errors that he made, he did not divide the whole equation. So in order for an equation to remain equivalent, you have to do the same thing to both sides, right? So he did not divide the entire equation by 4. It says, what are the x and y intercepts of the line? Explain your, show your reasoning. So there's a couple ways that we could do this, right? One, we can go ahead and do slope-intercept form. So if he had done this correctly, it would be y equals negative 10 over 4x plus 5, right? We can see that here. And then you could reduce this to, 5 over 2 as well, negative 5 over 2 if you wanted to. But quite easily we can see that our y-intercept is 5. So that would mean that we have 0, 5 as our y-intercept. Now for the x-intercept though, the way that we're going to do that is we're going to substitute when y equals 0, what does x equal, right? So let's go, that's not the eraser, let's fix that. Let's go back to our original equation, and we're going to say 10 times x plus 4 times 0 equals 20. This will mean that 10x equals 20, and that means x equals 2. Okay, so x equals 2, 0, y equals 0. This would be our x and y intercepts of the line. All right, and explaining or showing your reasoning, right? If you show your math here, then you've shown your reasoning for that. Number 2, which graph represents the equation 12 equals 3x plus 4y? Explain how you know. So let's go ahead and put this in slope-intercept form. 12 equals 3x plus 4y. I want the y to be by itself, so I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And remember, we can write this as negative 3x plus 12 equals 4y. Again, you could write that as 12 minus 3x. That's also acceptable, but we want that slope to be first. Now I'm going to divide everything by 4. And we get negative 3/4 x plus 3 equals y. So we know a couple of things here. First, we know that the slope is negative, and so that immediately eliminates b and c, and it can only be a. We can double check because we have a y-intercept of 3. 1, 2, 3. That is a y-intercept of 3, and it is going down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that checks out with this equation as a. Number 3, Noah has a coin jar containing dimes and quarters, or the total of $5. Select all the equations that represent this situation. So letter D, I don't know why they lettered this way, my bad. D plus Q would be the number of dimes plus quarters equals 5, and that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at a total price, right? And a dime and a quarter has a different value, so it can't be this one. And then therefore it also can't be E, because there isn't a value that we could multiply to get D and Q down to 1, and then the right side equal 500. That would work for both of those, because the amount that a dime is worth and the amount that a quarter is worth is different. F has 0.1, that's a dime because a dime is 10 cents, right? And then 0.25, that's right, because a quarter is worth 25 cents, equals $5, so F works. G says 10D plus 25Q equals 500. Well, let's see what they did here. In order to get from 0.1 to 10, they would have to multiply by 100, right? And so in this equation, they multiplied this entire thing by 100 to get this new equation, and this actually is equivalent, right? Because we can either divide this equation by 100 to get the previous equation, or multiply the previous equation by 100 to get this equation. H and I are giving us how many dimes and how many quarters we have, but there are multiple different variations that we could have, and that does not represent the full situation. So those two options are not workable options. All right. Number 4 says a school sells adult tickets and student tickets for a play. It collects $1,400 in total. The graph shows the possible combinations of adult tickets on the x-axis and student tickets on the y-axis sold. What does the vertical intercept, okay, so remember vertical intercept is the same as the y-intercept, right here, tell us in this situation? So when we have the vertical intercept here, we are looking at 200 student tickets and 0 adult tickets. So let's look for an answer option that matches that. It tells us the decrease in the sale of adult tickets for each student ticket sold. No, that's related to slope. It tells us the decrease in the sale of student tickets for each adult. So again, that would be related to slope, not related to the y-intercept. C, it tells us that if no adult tickets were sold, 200 student tickets were sold. Ooh, this one's looking pretty good. I like this one so far. Let's look at D. It tells us that if no student tickets were sold, then 200 adult tickets. So again, on this graph, this is telling us the student tickets sold 200 and the adult tickets sold 0. So C is our best answer. All right, these are asking you to practice that writing equations in slope-intercept form and then pick 2 to graph. So the graphing piece, you're on your own, right? You're going to do that because you're choosing which ones you're going to graph. But I will show you an example. So remember, when we're solving to put in slope-intercept form, we are always solving for y. We're making it into y equals mx plus b format, where the x is coming first, and then that b, that y-intercept, is second. And so here I'm going to solve for y by subtracting 3x on both sides. I'm going to rewrite this as 4y equals negative 3x plus 8, and then divide both sides by 4. And we'll get y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay? If I wanted to graph that one, then I'm looking at a y of 2. So I'm going to go ahead and draw here. And this is a negative slope, so my line should be going this way. So I'm going to go rise and run 3, so down 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know I need to go this direction because I have a negative slope, and I need to make sure that I have a negative slope. All right, so this going the other way is up 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, over this way, up 3, and over 1, 2, 3, 4, over this way. And you can connect your dots and draw a nice line. All right, so that's example with number 1. Number 2, again, same thing. Same pattern here that I'm going to follow, where I'm going to subtract 15x from both sides, and then we'll get 8y equals, and again, I can write this as 56 minus 15x, or keeping my sign with that negative 15, I'm going to put negative 15x. This is a positive 56 plus 56. Divide both sides by 8, and we will get negative 15 over 8x plus 56 divided by 8, which is 7. Okay? And so if you wanted to graph that one, again, you're going to have a negative slope. It's going down this way, and you're going to start with your y-intercept of 7. Okay? Let's take a look at one more. Which one shall I do? Let's do 4, okay? So here I'm going to do minus 11x. We get y equals negative 11x minus 5. All right, that one is actually super easy. I'm sorry I did that one. But you have y-intercept of negative 5 and a slope of negative 11. Becomes a negative 11 because we have to subtract here to get rid of that 11. So just be careful. When we are deciding whether to add or subtract, we're doing the inverse of what the sign is. All right, so let's do this one. Minus 10x on both sides. We'll get 3y equals negative 10x plus 2. Divide both sides by 3. All right, and that's your equation, right? Negative 10 over 3x plus 2/3. Again, I strongly recommend for these that you just keep it in your fraction form because that'll help you with graphing later on. And if you need to put it into a decimal for some reason, you can, but just leave it as a fraction. You'll be fine leaving it as such, okay? All right, you can do 5 and 6 completely on your own. You are capable of doing that. Your code word for today will be staple. Okay, staple is your code word for today. Put it on top of your paper and you can get extra credit. Happy homeworking, and I'll see you tomorrow.